What's going on, guys? Gamer Dude back once again with some more informative gaming news. But y'all know the routine. If you are new to the channel, please make sure you smash that like button and drop me a subscribe, because it would just be your good deed of the day. Same applies if you are a returning viewer. So then, as most of you may have heard by now, if you're a fan of the game that is, Marvel's Avengers is getting a significant content update this coming week. It will be known as patch 2.6 and will give us Bucky Barnes, better known as the Winter Soldier. So in this video, what I'm going to be doing is telling you what we can expect from this update, what's coming from this update, and I'm also going to give you the patch notes that Crystal Dynamics have released. So let's get right into it. Of course, it is something new. Crystal Dynamics has released the Marvel's Avengers 2.6 patch notes, though the patch itself won't actually roll out until September 20th, which is this coming Tuesday. This new title update brings the new elite villain sector, No Rest for the Wicked, along with a slew of hero-related changes. Now, I'm not sure how I feel about this new villain sector, because we've basically already got it in the game, just in a different area. It's going to feature fighting Monica again in some kind of aim base, which means there's going to be a lot of robots. But at least this time, you get to do it as a different hero. You know, you're not spamming it as Iron Man, Hulk, or Thor like you normally would. It's a different hero. I would like to say it's a different map, but I'm going to guess it's one we've already seen, or it's just going to be a reskinned one. Which is one of the big disappointments in Marvel's Avengers. You know, you expect with new content to come new places to explore, but no, it's just reskinned maps, and that's really quite annoying. Anyway, the new feature, as I just mentioned, will feature No Rest for the Wicked. The description for the mission is as follows. S.H.I.E.L.D. has detected a great power source coming from an AIM lab in the Utah Badlands, and it looks like Monica is running the operation herself. Assemble your strike team and take her on in our new elite villain sector, which rolls out with update 2.6. So once again, I don't know how to feel about this, because Monica has been a recurring thing since the game's story, and I would really just like them to move away from this whole AIM thing. You know, I know AIM deals in clones, and fair play, clones are never ending, they're endless, you can make as many as you want, but it is really quite frustrating and quite annoying to just be constantly fighting the same enemies over and over again. Taskmaster, Abomination, for example. And I'm also sick of fighting giant robots like the one you see on screen. It's just ridiculous and pointless. It takes the piss. Just stop. Do something new. Make something different, for God's sake. Anyway, the hero updates in update 2.6, they're supposedly making the first changes and tweaks to heroes as part of the ongoing process that they announced in their August development update, to make sure that every character continues to feel like the superheroes that they are. The update adjusts all the heroic abilities, with every hero receiving at least one buff to their heroic power. In future updates, they'll be making changes to other parts of the heroes' designs as well, not just in terms of balancing out combat, but to support every aspect of the superhero experience. So in a way, it does sound like Embracer Group, the new owner of the Avengers IP, is really trying to bring this game back from the dead, because that's really what happened to it. It died. You know, the player base dropped off, the bugs in the game just made it unplayable, the matchmaking was impossible. Every time you tried playing it with randoms, it just kicked you or kicked them out. It just didn't work. It was unplayable, especially on the next-gen version. Anyway, they're also making a number of global world changes, so that'll be just the different little map areas you get to explore. Firstly, they're adding better balance to the combat. They've reviewed all the enemy types, attacks, and hero hit reactions to damage. So, like, the knockback damage in this game is ridiculously overpowered. Like, you can get knocked back, and as your hero is trying to figure out whether or not to stumble to his feet or take a breath, you get knocked back again, and then you're out unconscious, and you've lost a life. And it's like, well, thanks. Just, get up. Don't just sit there. Get up. You don't see the real Avengers just sitting there doing nothing, waiting to get back up, do you? They get back up, and that's a real problem with this game. It's a problem I've had since it first launched, and they haven't done anything to fix it. It is just ridiculously retarded. The enemies are just really overpowered, especially the shielded ones. It takes like a billion years, depending on what gear you've got equipped, to actually take them down. Anyway, they're going to incorporate armor on the player that will completely protect players from damage within that fraction of a second, probably similar to how the Jarvis barrier works. Not only granting players a fair amount of time to escape any follow-up attacks, but also granting priority back to the initial enemy attacker, who won't have their own attacks interrupted by collateral damage. Yeah, that was also quite annoying. Like, if you were in the middle of starting up a heroic, say Iron Man's Unibeam, if you got hit while you were starting up that attack, it cancelled the attack, but the heroic power was gone. It's like you'd already used it. It's like, well, I didn't even get a chance to use it. That dude hit me with a lightning bolt, and now my attack's gone, and I've got to wait for it to recharge. So it sounds like they're going to be fixing that, and you actually, if you get attacked, it'll just sort of reset the heroic. It won't count as that you've already used it. Supposedly, though, the armor is only going to last on the player until they're able to abandon the certain reaction through dodging, evading, or jumping. So I don't know how it's going to work yet. We'll find out. Obviously, I'm going to do a video on it when it drops. Another global change that they've made is that they're going to be applying to all heroes, and it's when players activate heroic attacks. All pushback damage done now applies stun damage and scales with heroic and melee damage instead of just the heroics. So say with Black Panther, instead of the King's Mercy just doing the heroic damage, it's also going to incorporate precision damage, so range damage, because it is a ranged attack. It's a heroic attack, but it is also a ranged attack, and it doesn't seem to do any ranged damage. And you're just like, well, the only reason I'm going to be using this then is to pin the enemy, and then I'm just going to have to go and beat the crap out of them. So that's really cool how they're going to incorporate that into the game. Now, I would list all the updates that they're doing for each hero, but that will just take far too long, so I shall move on to the next thing. Whilst I'm trying to find myself, because I did write all this down, I scripted all of this to figure out what to actually say, but then I've realised it's just too much, so I'm just scrolling past it all. Let me know in the comments what you guys think. Do you think the game is dead? Do you think that Embracer Group should just move on to the next project, let all the newcomers that are working on all these new superhero games, so like Insomniac, EA Games, and Skydance New Media, just have their shot at it, and Avengers should be shut down to sort of stop sullying the superhero good name, so to speak? Yeah, let me know what you think. Okay, so they're also fixing a number of bugs and glitches in the Reassemble campaign, so that's the main story campaign. During the Private Eye mission, the supply depot locks can now actually be interacted with, because before it showed up as like a supply depot being there for gear, but you couldn't actually get into it. So it looks like they've now fixed that. Also, in the Reassemble campaign, Spider-Man's web on the helicarrier will no longer be missing for all players. Well, all PlayStation players, that is. They're updating the art and animation. While wearing Thor's Ultimate Thor outfit, Thor's hair will no longer be invisible or when invisibility is applied, his hair will not show up when he's invisible, because that was a thing. I mean, I say it's an animation update. It's more like a cosmetic update. The sides of Hawkeye's tunic will no longer clip into themselves when you wear the retro Avengers outfit. They're going to be removing a black spot on Hawkeye's right hand when wearing the retro outfit. Personally, I never noticed that, but eagle-eyed fans sure as hell did. Otherwise, they wouldn't be doing it. Iron Man's suit lights will now flicker properly when using the low battery emote while wearing the Sunny Days outfit. That's the new outfits they added with the summer update. They've fixed the right backpack strap on Miss Marvel's Avengers Day outfit that was experiencing stray polygon stretching with certain emotes. They've put in brackets next to it as well that they've also fixed Miss Marvel's continuous problem since it launched. They've fixed the problem of her outstretched arm. Every so often, when you play as Miss Marvel and you outstretch her arm, it will stay outstretched for the remainder of the level. it's just like you're running through this level with a massively outstretched arm. It's got to be like over 25,000 meters, just stretched out from the start of the level all the way to the end. But you're essentially just fighting with one arm at that point. Even when you embiggen, her arm still stays stretched out over the entire level. So I'm glad they're finally addressing that and finally fixing that. They're updating the user interface as well. There's only a couple of points here to note. They've updated the summer vacation bundle in the marketplace. The text will now include the correct wording of bundle. They've revised several perk descriptions for the Mighty Thor with correct grammar, because, yeah, it felt like it was written by a 3-year-old. They've also updated the war table to include heroic gauntlets gear rewards. Because when you did the gauntlets, it was a bit sketchy on what the rewards were for the gear. So I'm glad they've done that. They're making several changes to the combat, but the ones of note that were causing major bugs and problems for the game were as follows. Captain America's ultimate heroic ability, Brooklyn Brawler, no longer multiplies lasting damage as intended. They've fixed an issue where performing certain actions would not activate invisibility as intended. For me, that problem was with the major artifact, the one that turns you invisible. It didn't turn me invisible, so I'm glad they've fixed that. Black Widow's ranged capacity perk now increases ammo capacity on all weapons as intended. I don't really play as Black Widow that much, so I never really noticed that. Spider-Man's targeted explosion perk will now cause a damage explosion as intended in the gear perk. Now, I personally don't see why they're going to be continuing to update Spider-Man as a character, because he's only available on the PlayStation, which seems a bit stupid in of itself, because, you know, there's a Marvel game coming out. I can't remember the name of it, but I know it's a Marvel game. And it's coming to PlayStation and Xbox, and it has Spider-Man in it. So why is he an exclusive on Marvel's Avengers when he's going to be in this new Marvel game for PlayStation and Xbox? So it doesn't really make sense to just continue updating Spider-Man as a character in Marvel's Avengers when only PlayStation players have access to him. If both systems had access to him, fair play, continue updating him. But without that, there's really no need, because it's a bit unfair. They are making a couple of changes to the gear challenges and rewards, but there's only really one worth noting to save you and myself the time. The Mighty Thor's Eteries Breaker perk now increases the damage of ranged attacks, and the Mjolnir's chosen skill as designed. Basically, Thor's magic belt, as Happy Hogan put it. They're working on several known issues, but there's one that they've specifically highlighted here. They are aware of an issue causing some players to lose access to certain outfits for some heroes, including the mighty Thor, so that's Jane Foster's Thor. And they are currently investigating the issue. So the patch is, of course, due out this week coming, and I'll be sure to do a video on it and let you guys know how it is and what you can expect when the Winter Soldier is added as our next playable character into the game. Now, I was quite shocked and surprised that it was the Winter Soldier, because now it came to my attention that they added in the mighty Thor Jane Foster in line with the release of the Thor Love and Thunder movie. She came just a few weeks before that movie came to theaters. So everybody, including myself, naturally assumed that the next hero was going to be She-Hulk, because She-Hulk has been referenced in the game quite a few times. You go to the one of the outposts as the Hulk, and you hear some dialogue about She-Hulk. You know, they say something about it being the wrong Hulk or something like that. But there is dialogue pertaining to She-Hulk, so we all assumed that she was going to be the next one because of the She-Hulk Marvel series. But it could be that they've decided to push her back because we've already got what they've deemed as 2 Echo characters in the last year. So maybe they actually just wanted to push out a character with actual content to actually bring players back to the game. Because Echo characters are what's known as characters that come without additional content. You know, they're just there. They're just pretty much identical to characters that are already in the game. I mean, I guess you could call Kate Bishop an Echo character of Hawkeye, but she came with her own sub-story to Hawkeye's, you know, so that there was that, and that was a cool thing, you know, that I was glad that they did that, and it wasn't just a bad case of, well, here's Hawkeye, here's your story, that's done, now here's Kate, have fun. Hey, see what I did there? Rhyme. Yeah, I didn't mean to do that. But anyway, Mighty Thor is basically just a copy of Thor. She can do everything Thor does with a little tweak to her ultimate heroic. And Spider-Man, although he's not an Echo character, he's not a copycat of any character in the game, he is still essentially an Echo character because he's a character exclusive. He is exclusive content. He's a bonus character for the PlayStation. So I'm guessing if Microsoft had an exclusive deal for, say, I don't know, Doctor Strange, then possibly Doctor Strange would have been the same as Spider-Man for Xbox as Spider-Man is to PlayStation, if you see where I'm coming from there. But anyway, yeah, that's it for the video. So do let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Stay tuned, of course, because we have a lot of content incoming in the coming weeks. Of course, we have Gotham Knights due to come out next month. Can't wait for that. It's about 24, 25 days remaining at the time of recording this video, so can't wait for that. Then, of course, right after that, we have God of War. Also, so looking forward to that. Can't wait. The trailer they just dropped for God of War was on point. You know, they didn't need to show me any more of it. I'm already sold, Sony. I'm already sold. You don't need to show me any more. At this point, showing more is just spoiling the game. So leave it. Do not show us any more, please. Leave it. And of course, Christmas coming up right after that. So any games that I haven't bought for myself, or any person who decides to buy me a game for Christmas, of course, I will be doing that as well. One game of note that I haven't got that I might get for Christmas is Saints Row. The only reason I held off on Saints Row was because I heard bad things about it, and I wanted to wait to see if it got a couple of patches and if it made it any better. But we'll see. We'll see. Oh, and of course, February next year we have Hogwarts Legacy. So there's a lot coming in the next few months. We have a lot of games. And there's a big sale on the PlayStation Store right now. And I've been really considering getting the Kingdom Hearts series. It depends how much money I have, though. If I could afford it, I will get it and I will bring it to the channel. But if it doesn't come onto the channel, don't say that I promised you it, because I didn't. I never promised it. I just said I might get it. I might do it. It depends how much money I've got. But yeah, so that's it for the video then. So thank you once again for stopping by. I do appreciate it. Once again, you all know the routine. If you are new to the channel, please make sure you smash that like button and drop me a subscribe, because it would just be your good deed of the day. Same applies if you are a returning viewer. So yeah, that being said then, this has been Gamer Dude. Happy gaming, and I will catch you all in the next one, guys.